we have Chrono Lord Deios. Your battle cries, death rattles, hero power, and end of turn effects trigger twice.
Oh boy.
Those are a lot of scary words. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Does cost 7. Interesting interaction that may be absurd, maybe not, I don't know. Umbra, the way she works is she is a battle cry. So you will play her battle cry twice. She activates death rattles. So each death rattle will trigger twice. Welcome to episode 517 of Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. It is Friday, October 3rd, 2025, in the evening. Coming to you from Nomagon, Ohio, it's me, Edelweiss. From Northrend, Massachusetts, we have Wicked Good.
Hi.
From Teldrassil, California, we have Megasa.
Hello.
And from all around the world, we have you, dear listeners. This week's episode is brought to you by our producers, Number Theory, Crash, Beef Squatch, David P., Jeremy T., Bottle Caps, Grumpy Monk, The Burger Club, Kirk Regan, May, NY Kiwi, Spine, Proby1, and by our patrons of the week, Stevie Bats and Prakash. You can go to patreon.com/coinconcede to get perks like a thank you at the top of the show, bonus post-show content, early access to new episodes, one-on-one coaching sessions, and help support the show in the process. If you would like to support the show but cannot do so monetarily, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast feed of choice, as it always helps other people find the show. So, Life and Ladder. I finished the DLC for Ghost of Tsushima. Finally. And I have been playing Hades 2, because it's still amazing.
Oh, you didn't buy Ghost of Yotai yet?
Wait, it's out? Oh no.
Isn't it out today?
What are you doing? I have other stuff I need to get done. Well, I'll go do that after the show. Yep. That's Well, that's going to be my next week.
Yep. It was released for the PlayStation 5 on October 2nd, 2025. So yeah, it's been out for a day now. So
great. Well,
sorry, not sorry.
Yep. I don't usually snap purchase things like that. Like, I played Horizon like a year after it came out, played so many things that I just sort of, my like what's new is just like a year or two behind everyone else's because I pick things up on sale. But yeah, Ghost of Yotai is definitely one that I have been waiting for and will snap up. But
yeah, I'll buy that when it goes on sale around Christmas time because I've got too many things to play. I did snap by Final Fantasy Tactics, but I haven't launched it yet. So
fair. Yeah. But in terms of ladder, messing around with just various what things can we make into an Elise, sometimes Fyrakk deck, but mostly Elise. Lately, the thing that's been doing best has been just like a straight up Terran hydration station warrior, because I realized that sometimes I should have mulliganed away the quest, but I didn't know that they were quest warlock. And the other times, I never played the reward. So, like, just take it out and add a 10-drop, which was Hydration Station. So, it's doing pretty all right. There's a lot of ways of resummoning a very, very large starship, and when you roll copy, it's just filthy. Like, those are the games where sometimes you just Exodar for damage, and that's the game, because I believe it does the launch effects first, so you blow up their minions with your Yamato cannons, and then Exodar lasers them down. So yeah, that's been me for ladder.
I haven't played a lot of Hearthstone. I played a little bit of Wilted Priest and had several games where I was about to kill them and then they got me, which is how combo decks work, right? When they lose. So, but I went about even with it. I should be playing Hades 2 during this like brief pause when I actually had a little bit of time to be gaming before I now have another new student at work, and it's another English class, so that's more reading, which is good, but between my 3 English classes who are all at totally different levels and therefore reading totally different stuff. It's a lot of reading to keep track of with them. One of them, we were doing the contemporary fiction, and I gave her a list of like 10 books, and she had read 6 of them. So a big contemporary literature fan, which is awesome. But luckily there was one there that I really liked that she hadn't read, which is The Tsar of Love and Techno, which is technically a collection of stories and not a novel, but they really intersect like a novel, much more so than something like Cloud Atlas. The first one especially just is like really seared in my brain, about a 1937 man who is in Russia. He's in the party. He believes in it, but has things challenged, and his job is to airbrush out people who've been canceled, to use a much more mild term. People who have been considered traitors, he has to airbrush them out because they never existed, right? So it's a very good book for anyone who isn't familiar with it. But anyway, what I have been playing during the time that I don't have is No Man's Sky. I found some random planets. I found a pink one with random giant bubbles everywhere. I found one with nothing but mysterious pillars, which don't seem to do anything except you can collect them and put them in your base because they look cool. And there's one that's pretty nice, but there's random constant firestorms, which is a bit of a problem. There's one there, the gravity just sort of turns off partially, but not completely, every so often. And I've been trying, you can get a lot of in-game rewards if you scan all of the wildlife on a planet. So I'm often able to do that, but sometimes there'll be like one that you just cannot find. And I feel like it's Pokemon again, and there's something with a low rate of finding it in like this one patch of grass in this one weird place, and you keep running into all kinds of other Pokemon that are just getting in your way. So
it's like every N64 game with a collect 100 doodads, and you can find 99 of them, but not the 100th, and then you can't progress the quest until you find the 100th, and you look everywhere and it's nowhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Right now I have one. I want to finish this planet because it has a ton of them. I found all of them really easily. It gives you a bunch of nanites, the currency. But there's one that's rare, only found underwater, and only in the Northern Hemisphere. And I can't find deep water in the Northern Hemisphere. There's not like a map of the planet. You have to explore the planet, and they're large. And I cannot find anywhere with deep enough water. So I might give up, because at least unlike N64, you can just go do something else instead of just beat your head against the wall. And I also found a settlement that was like, we need an overseer. You can become that for us. Really, it's like a venture capitalist. I just put in money and resources, and then they're supposed to make things for me once they are finally making a profit as a settlement. So far, it's been a lot of resources for not much return, but theoretically, we will get there. It's just rather weird that I'm like a random space traveler, and they're like, you will be our overseer. But, you know, main character syndrome.
It's like the aliens from Toy Story.
Yes. But, you know, otherwise, Hearthstone, I'm just following the reveals, which, of course, we will be talking about today, and explanations. Don't know how I'm going, like, right when the expansion is launching, it's going to be, like, right when I'm trying to write up a big report for my latest grad school class, so it'll be interesting, but I will make it work.
we can have Bob write you a note or something.
I do need to get faster at writing these. Like, I can't do assessment if I can't write an assessment report. But it's not like you can, you know, there is some formulaic aspects to the writing, but obviously when it's about a real kid, which this one is going to be about a real kid, it needs to be accurate and thoughtful because it's being used for a real purpose. Although it can't be too long, because I have definitely learned that people do not read really long reports. Even the educational therapists do not read really long reports. So the neuropsychologist who I know, who historically has written like 30 plus page reports that are like works of art, no longer does because she was like, no one reads it. I was like, well, I read them. She was like, okay, one person read them. You were the exception that proves the rule.
I went surprise to another comic book show this weekend. This one was near where my older daughter's going to school, so we picked her up and got to hang out with her for the day. Got some good ramen for lunch, which was good. And so, Twin B was going through all of the comics, and she got a decent amount of stuff. And meanwhile, the oldest and I were kind of looking for Magic cards, and there was only a couple places that had them. There was one booth that had some sealed stuff. So I said, well, hey, do you have any singles? And he pulls out a Ziploc bag with a whole lot of cards in it. And he's like, well, I don't know anything about this. I don't know how these are priced or anything. But if you want to take a look through, you're welcome to. I saw one card that I recognized. I'm like, can I just hand it wasn't a huge, it was probably I mean, I know how many it was. It was 500 cards that were in it. And I said, can I just give you $20 for the whole thing? And he's like, sure, please take it off my hands. So my daughter and I basically, we do another lap. We find there's nothing else. Okay, let's just go over to this table while Twin B's going through all the comics and just see where there is. And we just pulled out not huge bangers, but oh, I know that card. That's a $5 card. That's a $3 card. That's sometimes it's just this is just I felt like I was on Storage Wars. It was just there was a $15 card that I've already sold. That was pretty good. And there was a bunch of stuff because they're doing they're putting Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn onto a Magic card and I'm building a commander deck around her. So there's a bunch of artifact stuff that I needed and it was all in there. So I got some stuff. I already sold enough to pay for it. So that was a fun adventure. Got to do my I don't know who I would be on Storage Wars, but probably not the ostentatious guy. But anyway, I don't need to figure that out right now. But anyway, so in Hearthstone, the quest priest stopped working, surprisingly. Not surprisingly. It crashed and burned pretty quickly. And I didn't really do a whole lot towards the end of the month because I wasn't really feeling like I was going to get my MMR to a point where it was going to matter. I started playing when the month reset, and I was trying to find something to play, and I didn't feel like doing Death Knight again, and I didn't feel like doing Quest Warlock again. And I went on HS through, and I saw that Califero DH was a high win rate. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. So if you probably have seen it, but if you haven't, it's running my sweet Blobby boy, Blob of Tar. So of course I'm interested in it. And you're running the Resurrect package with the Ravenous Fellhound and Fellhunter, whatever he's called, and Tusk Piercer, and then you're reviving it. You're just kind of making a wall, and then you run double Aquari Inquisitor and Magtheridon, and along with Quick Dive. So you're generally the idea with Califero, who's an 8-mana 6/5 that says Battlecry, draw a minion, transform all the friendly minions to copies of it, is that you either get that to turn into Magtheridon or Illidari Inquisitor, and ideally you pulled all the other death rattles out with Tusk Piercers or whatever. That doesn't happen as much as you would like it to, just because you end up drawing a lot of those. There's only 3 cards to hit, and Califero's a 1/of, and there's no way to tutor it. But it turns out that sometimes just cliff diving, getting to Illidari Inquisitors and hitting people in the face for 16 plus whatever your face does is fine. It's plenty. And sometimes you just end up with a board that they just can't clear because your boards never go away. So I've had a 60 some odd % win rate with it over 30 games. And it's felt better than anything else that I've been playing. And I'm kind of tired of Elise, Fyrakk, Naralex. It's just feeling like it's the rare deck that I can play that's not Quest Warlock that doesn't run that package, and I'm kind of not having to run that package. So I've been having some fun with it, and I'll probably stick with it. I've been climbing reasonably well with it, and it's felt better than anything else I've been doing. It does brick. There are some times that you just don't draw a Blob of Tar despite your best efforts, and then you're sitting there with a Ravenous Fellhunter in your hand. You are literally less than worthless to me. You just need to get out of my sight because I don't want to see you right now. But and then you die. But like those games are just kind of the cost of doing business. And I kind of like having a deck that does sometimes just not draw the perfect cards all the time, because it feels like it's kind of easy to tutor up what you want in a lot of these decks more often than not. Not all the time, but there's enough tutors that it feels like that sometimes. So having a little bit of draw variance doesn't bother me that much. But enough talking about this expansion, because we have the next one that we need to talk about, and that's pretty much what we're going to spend the episode on. So let's go talk about Across the Timeways.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Well, actually, I lied, because we're going to talk about that in the explanations. But but we are going to talk about the patch notes for 33.6 that released on Monday, which does include the pre-order for Across the Timeways, which is the new expansion, which we will talk about in the explanations. But you can go and pre-order them in the shop. The usual bundles, there's a 50 pack bundle, an 80 pack bundle, and then a sequence bundle if you buy both of those, that are available in the shop to you right now. You will get the bundles come with the normal things. There's a portrait in the 80 card bundle with golden legendaries and signatures and all the things that you like. So you can go get that. You can also log in and get Mr. Clocksworth for free. We will talk about all the cards and explanations, but do make sure to go get Portal Vanguard from the shop. That is not given to you automatically on login, so you might have missed it. But if you go into the shop, you can go claim it for free. So don't miss that, and make sure to get that. I mean, I'm sure you'll be able to get it later. Like it says after patch 34.2, which is well in the future. That's like the Battlegrounds patch after this expansion releases. So we're talking like 2 months down the road. If you haven't gotten it, then you'll be able to get it just by opening it Across the Time. So you will get it, but just go get it now and save, and then you have it. There's going to be an in-game event when the expansion launches called Chromie's Chrono Catastrophe. So there's going to be 4 Across the Timeways packs, and there's going to be some cards that are specific to that event. Semi-Stable Portal and Storm the Gates that you'll be able to earn 2 normal and 2 golden copies of. 2 tavern tickets. 2 golden Portal Vanguards. That's another unique card, and then a Nozdormu the Timeless Paladin Heroes. So you will be able to get those. Storm the Gates is actually a side quest, which we haven't seen since Descent of Dragons, I want to say. I think that was right when we got side quests. So that's pretty fun. So this expansion's all about references past and future, so that's appropriate that we'd have something that references a past effect with the appropriate keyword. So
is Storm the Gates technically in this set, or is it a gift card?
I believe it is
gift card.
I don't know.
It looks like that's the gift icon in the back, but it's hard to see.
Oh, it is. Yeah. The present thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Storm the Gates, 1 mana spell, side quest, play 3 beasts or undead, reward, craft a custom zombeast. It costs 3 less, and I assume that's the same zombeast as from Deathstalker Rexar back in the day.
Yes. Yeah.
Seems like solid if it can find a home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's neutral, right? So like you can find places for that.
Yeah. I mean, the things that come to mind are if there's ever another sort of aggressive DK with undead, or if Beast Hunter gets to a place where it's more about actually playing beasts rather than just summoning them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I know the pool is Discover, which has only ever been in, and I don't know how this works. If you were to get like the thing that would let you craft custom zombies outside of Hunter, I guess it's working with the same pool, or would it be locked to your class? Because this is neutral.
My guess is that there's like a zombies pool.
Yeah, I think there's a zombies pool. That's probably how it is.
Right, because it's old stuff.
Yeah. It's a UI that looks like Discover, but isn't Discover, I think.
Yeah.
Just like crafting a mixologist potion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Battlegrounds, again, we're not going to spend a lot of time, but it is a major update. There is going to be major updates to over 25 heroes that are effectively reworks. So do be aware if you are playing to actually read the hero before you pick them, because they may not do what you think they do. Buddies are back. They say that one common critique of buddies is that many designs felt stale after being unchanged for so long. So in addition to introducing 10 brand new buddies, which are predominantly for heroes that didn't have them before, we've redesigned or adjusted nearly 40 existing ones. Combined with the hero changes, these updates should open up fresh strategies and give players new reasons to revisit old favorites. And anomalies are coming back soon. They are not here yet. But they're going to come back, they say, shortly after launch to give players time to get familiar with the new heroes and buddies. So if you are a fan of anomalies, then you will be happy to hear that. If you're not, then you won't be. But that is coming soon.
Yes. And to be clear, that's not anomalies in standard, that's anomalies in battlegrounds.
Anomalies in battlegrounds, not in standard. Yeah. Let's not do that again if we can help it. Also, quests are going away because we don't want to have quests and buddies at the same time. That would be a lot of things to keep track of. So quests are leaving in patch 33. There's a lot of changes, a lot of new buddies. I'm going to scroll forever. You can scroll forever if you go read the patch notes, because we're not going to enumerate all those things. But it is, if you are Battlegrounds inclined, you'll want to go take a look at that and see what appeals to you. There are new ladder ready decks for free for everyone. Normally, these are only offered to people who are new to the game or have come back after an extended absence. But now you will see them when you are in the play screen. You will see them immediately, and then you can try any of them out. You may not be able to. It's unclear how much longer these are going to go, so you may want to go look at it pretty quick if you're hearing this.
Yeah, so I can't see exactly how long the free one is. They don't specify that specifically. But you do get to play with them for a little bit of time before you pick one. It'll say, like, when you go, it isn't a pop-up at the beginning of the game. It's when you go into the Hearthstone tab and you go to play a game. It's a banner at the top of all your decks. You can try them out and then pick one.
There's like an extra page at the front of your deck selection screen that has like the banner and then the 6 decks on it.
Yes. They will be available at least in the shop for $5 each until patch 34 cycle, which is like right before the next expansion launch. And I think the free one will also be available then, but go check. So you can get it just for dust. They all, except for the Hunter doesn't have any non-free legendaries in it. The others each have 2 non-free legendaries in it. So if you kind of already have a bunch of cards, you can just go for what you think is good dust value. If you do not have a bunch of cards, I would honestly go with whatever you think is going to be the most fun. They're all pretty competitive. Probably the Mage is the least competitive. So the ones that they have are Starship, DK, Quest Spellmage, Quest Paladin, Quest Warlock, Beast Hunter, and Protoss Priest. But these are like real decks, and they're not like made poorly. They are made well to what the actual meta lists of those are. And if you know anyone who logs into Hearthstone once in a while, like, encourage them to get this. My husband logs in just often enough that he doesn't count as a returning player, but not often enough that he has a great collection. So I'm gonna recommend that he get either the Hunter, Paladin, or Warlock one. I think he already has the Paladin quest, so and he likes more aggressive play styles. So
it sounds like he has a bad influence in the household. Is what it sounds like.
Yes. Well, he is a bit of a troll sometimes, so I'm a little surprised he hasn't like full reacted against me and gone full Starship DK. But he actually really hates starships.
If he wants to sign up for coaching, you know where to send him.
So you can poison him against me. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really cool that they're offering this more broadly. At a minimum, it's some dust, and I think for people with more limited collections, like, this is a good deal. You can get a real playable deck for free, and then if you want another one for $5.
And if you don't need any of them, just pick one of them and just make sure to get it so you get the dust. Well, there's another Dark Moon Fair. We're not going to spend time on it. There's a Mythic Portrait there for Druid and Priest. It's $10 more expensive than it was. We've said everything we're going to say. Our position on it is pretty clear. Don't engage with this without knowing exactly what you're getting into, which is spending $168 for what's in there. Maybe that's a good value if you want everything in there. Maybe it's not, but know that you're go in there expecting that the price tag on that is $168 and act accordingly.
Yeah. Well, if your goal is to come away with the Alexstrasza, right?
Yes. Yeah.
If
I would expect that you look at this as an entire bundle and expect it as a $168 bundle and be happy with the value you're getting for $168. If not, then don't engage with this. If you are looking to pull this twice and get an Alexstrasza and then leave, that's not going to happen very likely. So
yeah. Okay. I wanted the Scarab. I got the egg. With the free pull. That's how it goes.
I actually got the Scarab. It's really pretty, but it's I was not going to pay to try to get it.
Yep. Exactly.
I don't even use the free pull. I don't even want to deal with it. But
it's fair.
That's just how I am. So.
That is fair. Also, I just checked, and I do have a double copy of the legendaries from the free ladder ready deck that I got. So yes, okay. You do get the dust even if you already own the cards.
Nice.
Okay. There are a couple of bug fixes. There's that were done in the patch, and then there's a couple afterwards. There was a bug where casting Trustfall with the Origin Stone in place summoned the second pair of minions twice. That doesn't happen anymore. Fixed a bug where non-minion battle cry cards could consume the effect of Murmur. That would be a feels bad.
Yeah, someone had that happen in our Discord. In fact, they might have been the person who reported it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I guess you play a minion that doesn't have a battle cry, and then you play something else, and then Murmur does nothing. Is that basically what happens?
Murmur killed itself.
Oh, even better. That's wow. Okay, cool. Okay, you don't want a battle cry? I'm out of here. Good luck. They fixed a bug where the Replicator failed to summon a copy of a dormant minion if its attack matched the Replicator after being buffed. That is a lot of words that I recognize, but not in that order, and I'm sure that someone somewhere is happy about that. The other thing that they fixed, if you are someone who did engage with the pets, there was a bug where newly created decks would not have pets favorites only toggled on by default. I'm assuming I know that there's a setting that was causing all new decks to get a pet whether you liked it or not, and then you had to go into each deck and individually turn them off if you did get the pet. I don't know if this is fixing that, but because you don't always want to have that long end screen at the end of every game.
Now some people have multiple pets if they got both pets. So let's say you paid for both pets, but you only want King Crush for some reason. Then you might not have like the favorites only on, I guess. I don't know. I don't have the pets, so I'm not certain.
This is a literal first world problem. Yeah.
There's two. So
there were some other bug fixes they've had since the 33.6 patch. There was an issue where rewind was causing a game crash. That is apparently fixed, and they are monitoring that. They have also unbanned Portal Vanguard, Semi-Stable Portal, and Mixer Clocksworth because they were banned for a little bit because of the rewind issue. They've identified and resolved a recent issue affecting gold purchases for players in the US. So gold was just being eaten by the shop. Like, you try to get arena tickets or like the mini set, and it would take your gold and then not give you anything. So if that happened to you, they say that they are reviewing the impact on affected players and will share an update soon regarding next steps for those who may have lost gold during that time. Thank you for your patience. And they sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. So that, especially if it was a lot of gold for a mini set, is real rough. But
yeah. Well, also for arena players, because arena players just couldn't play, because who buys tavern tickets with money?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And then more minor, the VFX from Brawl and Badlands Brawler has finally been re-enabled. You may have noticed that VFX was gone. It's back now.
That was a bug? I thought that was a feature. I thought they finally
yeah, I
disabled
thought that was on purpose.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, they really sped this up. That's great.
So that's, of course, with any patch, we're going to have bugs. That is somewhat inevitable and the way of life. So there are a bunch of rewind related bugs that are still happening. Rewind is a keyword and will let you effectively reroll a random effect. And then there's a very long involved VFX sequence where like the whole screen gets covered in gold dust and then everything gets reset back to the way that it was and you get to try again. So when Rewind is played simultaneously across multiple clients, players after the first cast Rewind may experience delays.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. That
Like,
is
my guess is that when lots of people across the world or across the server are playing Rewind effects at the same time, somehow the Hearthstone servers are processing it too slowly. I don't know if that's what that means, but that's my guess.
That sounds like it would be all the time.
It seems like that would be constant, yes. Now, they did say that they fixed the Rewind crashing. I'm not 100% certain if any of these were also fixed with this latest patch that literally just happened as we're recording. But I think, given that these are still on the known issues page and haven't been updated on the known issues page, I believe these are still happening. But by the time you're listening to this, it may not be.
Yeah, and there's some other weird things. Like Portal Vanguard attacking and killing an enemy, and then rewinding it will rewind too far, undoing the attack. They're going to have a hotfix for this in 33.6.1. Sometimes there's unintended sound and video effect and board interactions that are possible during the rewind effect. It's a very big thing. Like, apparently the technical process behind this is a lot. So I'm not surprised they'll get those things sorted out as they go. It's probably good for there only to be a couple of these cards so they can get some better data and then fix this for when we're rewinding a lot. Hopefully when the new set comes out. Mercenaries is temporarily disabled. It's just completely broken. I don't know why it's temporary, but sure. Okay. You could just take it out back and shoot it at this point, I guess, if you wanted to. But anyway, they're going to bring it back at some point for the three of you that still care about mercenaries. There were some, the Storm the Gate signature cards were in the shop. These are the ones that were from the event that is going to be with the new set launch. So apparently you could buy a signature card that goes along with it. They took it out because you can't use the cards yet. So they're going to put those back in the shop when the set launches.
Makes sense.
And they temporarily have disabled Battlegrounds hero rerolls. So this is a good opportunity for you to try some of those reworked heroes that you haven't gotten to try yet, I guess, because you can't reroll them anyway. So go try a new hero. So that is it. And we've talked a lot around the expansion, but we haven't talked about the expansion. So why don't we do that?
All right, so Hearthstone's Across the Timeways expansion will be launching on November 4th, adding 145 new cards and a time-warping storyline, I'm reading this from them, that pulls Warcraft heroes from every era into one epic showdown. Bend time to your will with new keywords, Fabled and Rewind, harnessing the power of the greatest warriors of all time, and even rewinding cards to play them again. So basically in this expansion, we have Chromie. Chromie is a bronze dragon who likes to take the form of a female blonde gnome and be accordingly gnomish. And she's known for her time magic, kind of like other bronze dragons like Nozdormu. She is the ever-cheerful chronomancer and protector of the Timeways. And she has discovered that Murozond, who I remember loving to play Murozond back in Galakron Priest.
Oh, yeah.
I had a Galakron Priest with no win condition, but just like value for days. that they had given me for free as essentially a ladder ready deck, and it was fantastic.
And you strayed so far from the light, just so far.
It like replayed things.
Everything that your opponent did it was Sasquatch,
Yes.
but for your opponent's last turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. This time Murozond will be entirely different. But I just had to go on that memory lane. I'm like, Murozond, my old buddy. But Murozond is evil in this. I don't know if he's evil in World of Warcraft in general.
Yeah.
But he's evil in this expansion.
It's Nozdormu distorted by the time line. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Nozdormu but evil. Is basically what it is.
Time corrupted Nozdormu.
They scrambled his name, and he was so annoyed that he became evil. So Murozond, Lord of the Infinite, is trying to derail all timelines and send them to oblivion. So Chromie has raced across the time waves to recruit fabled heroes, such as a pre-Banshee Sylvanas, we'll talk about in a second, a mech piloting Gelbin, and a bunch of other Warcraft heroes who there is a reveal video, and there's also a song cinematic trailer like they used to do. And people have been like pausing it and being like, is that this character and that character? So the two new mechanics that we have here, we talked a little bit about rewind, so I'll start with that one. It lets you replay cards with random effects for another shot at a better outcome. So for example, we have Portal Vanguard, which is available now and hopefully won't crash your game. At this point is a 3-mana 2/2 dragon that says rewind, and it has Battlecry, draw a random minion, give it +2/+2. So what that means is after you play Portal Vanguard, he'll draw a minion, and then it'll put up a thing that says timeline rewind or keep. So you can either hit keep and nothing happens, or you hit rewind and the big fancy animation that hopefully they'll speed up the way they sped up Horizon's Edge, because
I think they said they can't because
they can't.
Yeah,
it just takes that long to do it.
It's because it's just like that's how long it's taking to like roll back the turn. So it's just I think that.
So don't wait till the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you did, keep it, because it does take a second. So if you rewind, your screen is covered, and then the game state goes back, and you will draw a minion again. Note that it could be the same one, because it just like literally went back and tries again. It's not like, oh, let's say that you have an Elise and a Bob, and those are the only minions in your deck, and you play Portal Vanguard, you draw the Bob, but you wanted Elise, so you hit rewind, you could draw Bob again. You were not guaranteed to hit Elise on your second time. So keep that in mind.
This is probably more relevant. Like there's a card called Conflux Crasher that has Battlecry deal 7 damage to a random enemy with rewind. And like if there's 2 minions on the board, it's still a coin flip, right?
Well,
so
and it can go face.
Right. Or I guess it could go face, right? So if there's 1 minion on the board and it's going face, and you really wanted to kill your opponent, like it could still hit the minion twice, right? It's not like, oh, if I rewind it, I'm guaranteed to get the other one. It's you just get to try again.
Right. So basically, if you have 1 minion and face, and you want it to go face, you have a 75% chance before you start that it's going to go face, because there is only one option where both hit the minion. But it is not a 100% chance that you can get it to go face with the rewind. So do keep that in mind. And once it's already gone poorly for you, now you are not owed the better outcome. It's still 50-50. That's how probability works. It's really hard to keep that in mind when you're playing probability games, but
yay math.
Yay math. Other rewind cards that we have include this is a mage card, so we'll talk about it more when we get to the mage set when it's revealed, but it's 2 mana arcane spell, semi-stable portal, rewind, add a random minion to your hand, and it costs 3 less. So maybe you get something you don't want, you can try again.
This is unstable portal, but you get a second shot at it. That's basically what this is.
Right, and it's going to your hand instead of the board.
Well, unstable portal also went to your hand. So unstable portal was from goblins versus
gnomes. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot how that card works.
So so that it is the same card except that it's got rewind on it, so you can try again.
I mean, fair to forget how that card worked. It was in the second ever expansion.
Yes.
Well, first really, because Nax was an adventure.
Nax was an adventure. Yeah.
It's even the same animation for the portal part, which is kind of cool. There's also a legendary, which is available now, Mr. Clocksworth. 8 mana, 3/3, with rewind, rewind, rewind. Battlecry summon 2 random legendary minions. So you can rewind up to 3 times, trying to get the perfect 2 random legendary minions. You cannot, like, go back to a better option. Like,
you
I
can't
think,
roll all 3 and pick the best. Yeah.
right. It's not a discover. So there is kind of an interesting tension of, do you settle for good enough or do you try to get greedy? And, maybe there's a particular out that you need. Probably not for 2 random legendary minions. You're thinking of one out, but maybe you're like, I need something defensive or I need something offensive. But yeah, it'll be interesting for some of these, like, when do you settle and when do you take the risk?
Play that early. Don't wait. Don't spend a lot of time figuring out if that's your turn. Because if you have to rewind 3 times, that animation's going to have to go 3 times. So generally, I mean, that should be most of your turn anyway, though not necessarily with Ysera. But yeah, you want to commit to that pretty early. And because it's random, you're not limited to just your class. So the pool is also bigger. So don't keep that in mind when you're also making the decision, because it's not like the pool is very small and you're likely to hit something that you're going to hit. The pool is very wide, being all legendary minions that are in standard in a 6-set meta.
Yeah. You're unlikely to get, like, Dungar and what's another terrible hit to summon. Like, you're not very likely to get, like, a complete dud because you can try again up to 3 times, unless it's your last roll, of course. But you're not very likely to, like, oh, I'm going to specifically try to hit a particular legendary.
Yeah. Like Deirdre Rebel Captain would be probably pretty bad. Like
that at least has rush.
It at least has rush, I guess. But yeah, you don't get any of the crewmates because that's a battle cry. Like any of the battle cry ones are going to be bad for the most part, right? Like Barrack Kodobane would be a pretty feels bad, or like Sasquatch, or
if Shaladrisil were not a thing, this would be a lot of 8s. I feel like right now for release, but
yeah,
Shaladrisil is just better. So
yeah, but there are a lot of like 3/4/4/4 battle cries, like Kwanzu and King Tide and Mage and stuff like that. That are not fantastic.
So this is a better card than it would be without the rewinds, I think, for sure. But it's also still not Discover. A board in a box, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's a significant board.
I mean, it's basically, like playing Marin, except that you don't, it's a little worse than Marin, but it's also cheaper than Marin to get the crown. Right? Because that's 10 mana. This is 8 mana. You don't get to discover, and you get 2 different ones, but you also get 3 chances to see what you're going to get, as opposed to discovering, which is you look at all 3 and you pick one, right? You can kind of think of it like discovering. You just don't get to see them all at the same time.
Yeah. Anyway, I think interesting thing to mess around with. I don't know if it's available in Arena. I feel like it'd be like just really good in Arena to pick up, but
they have to make a bucket for it, so it's easier to exclude in Arena too.
I think that they said that this is the only thing with multiple rewinds on the same card.
Yeah. But they aren't all like random. They aren't all kind of scuffed discovers. We also have a card, Conflux Crasher, which is a neutral 7 mana 7/7 dragon with rewind and battle cry, deal 7 damage to a random enemy. That Wicked had mentioned, like if you want that to go face, it's not guaranteed. But so it's not always just like generate a random thing, the rewinds. Right. It's any sort of random effect.
I'm much more interested in the other mechanic. Or
yes.
Keyword.
So the other keyword that we have is Fabled. And Fabled, essentially, it goes on 1 legendary. But that legendary is really a package of 3 legendaries that all go into your deck together. So it's 1 card in your collection. You only need to craft or open 1 legendary. But when you drag it into your deck, it expands into 3 cards and counts for 3 of your 30 cards. So for example, and this looks like a very cool card. We had mentioned that one of the heroes, the Fabled heroes that Chromie recruited, was pre-Banshee Sylvanas. So we have Ranger General Sylvanas as a 3-mana 2/4 with Fabled. She says, Battle Cry, deal 2 damage to all enemies. If you've played Ilaria or Varisa, repeat for each. So Ilaria and Varisa, of course, are 2 other hunter characters, but they are also 2 other legendaries that appear in your deck after you put Sylvanas in your deck. So Ilaria is also a 3-mana 4/2 with Battlecry, discover a spell. If you've played Sylvanas or Varisa, repeat for each. And
2/4.
Varisa,
they're all 2/4s.
Sorry if I misspoke. 3-mana 2/4. And then Ranger Initiate Varisa is also a 3-mana 2/4 with Battlecry, give minions in your deck +1/+1. If you've played Ilaria or Sylvanas, repeat for each. So they will each improve based on the other 2. That's not how all Fabled cards work, by the way, just these ones.
Yeah.
But they're always going to have some sort of synergy, of course. In this case, they can each do their effect up to 3 times, depending on whether it's the first one you've played, the second one, or the third one. Do note that if you, let's say you want Sylvanas, Sylvanas can only do a maximum of 6 damage, even if you somehow, copied Ilaria and played 2 of them, that still only counts as, 1 extra 2 damage to all enemies, because it just says if you've played Ilaria or Varisa. So you can't, use the Rengari Scout to, cheat this. You have to find the others.
But you could do things like, get all 3 of them played, and then any copies you have of any of them will, do the full.
Yes,
effect,
it's still good to copy them. I still think this is great in Discover Hunter, or really just any hunter.
Well, any hunter that has 3 card slots for it, right? Because it is taking up 3 slots in your deck. Because you're putting 1 legendary in your deck, but it's taking up 3 slots. So you have to be. It's not like you're getting the 2 others for free, and that is an important cost sometimes. If you can't take advantage of whatever that effect is, that 3 card slots out of your deck for this is a real cost that you have to balance.
Yeah, and if there's one that you don't want that much, it almost feels a little bit like having to include a tourist. None of these are none of these are Gilly. I have to have Gilly in my deck, but I'm really sad if I draw Gilly. I think in most hunters, all of these would have a place. But if we see a Fabled where you don't want one, but you do want the other one, sort of too bad. Again, like the tourists, someone in the Discord said, a staycation, if you will. I think probably in general, Varisa, they give minions in your deck +1/+1 or +2/+2 or +3/+3 is probably on average the worst one. Not Discover Hunter doesn't care that much about that one. Maybe a Beast Hunter would care more. They aren't beasts, but I feel like they're such good effects for aggro that aggro might want them anyway. Deal 2 damage to all enemies multiple times potentially is really good for aggro. Discovering a spell gives you a little bit of reload. Give minions in your deck, will give you a little bit more damage later on. I don't know if exactly current Beast Hunter would want this, but aggressive hunters could want this. Discover Hunter can get multiple Sylvanases or something, and then do a ton of damage.
The one that I think you basically always hope you have on curve is Varisa, right? Because since it's just minions in your deck, you can't really expect to play very many things if you're giving +2/+2. But I don't know, maybe on coin if you have something else and Varisa, maybe you keep an Illyria Varisa hand to coin out Illyria and then play Varisa, because +2/+2 is a lot on everything depending on the deck. But I think most of the time you'll just want to curve out Varisa if you can, and then be happy that the other 2 are upgraded.
So, and we don't know what the rest of the hunter set looks like yet, but this just seems like a generally strong card. I think the main thing that's hard for Discover Hunter is that it likes to run a really curated minion package in order to find Niall more consistently, and this adds 3 minions to your pool for birdwatching and cards like that. But it might be worth it. It's an extra Discover. It's an extra AoE.
Birdwatching and Niall are also going to be rotate, right? So this is going to be around for another year. So That'll only be a consider. The third set is when we start saying, well, this. What is this now, and what is this in, 6 months? So when stuff rotates out.
The next Fabled plays completely differently, though.
Yes. So Gelbin of Tomorrow is a Paladin Fabled card. The main one that you see in your collection is an 8-mana 6/6 mech with Battlecry. Put one of each aura from your deck into the battlefield, so it's Mysterious Challenger for auras. And the other 2 cards that come with Gelbin's Fabled are 2 auras, which both have tradable, which is really nice, because then you can't draw patches as badly. So one of the auras is called Gnomish Aura. It is a 4-mana holy spell with tradable at the end of your turn. Restore 4 health to all your characters last 3 turns. And the other one is Mechatork's Aura. 5 mana, tradable at the end of your turn. Give a random friendly minion +4/+4 and Divine Shield. Last 3 turns. That is also holy.
And it's interesting because I don't think you would play either of those cards, right? I don't think you would play Gnomish Aura. I don't think you would play Mechatork's Aura. But since you can tradable them in and consistently drop Gelbin with getting those effects, along with whatever other auras you decide to put in your deck, I think that's pretty solid, because by himself, Gelbin is an 8-mana 10/10 Divine Shield that also heals you and your whole board. And they revealed with this Chronological Aura, which is a 5-cost holy spell. At the end of your turn, summon 3/5 dragon with taunt last 3 turns. So, just getting the auras from this set off of him is pretty solid. And then you factor in that we still have some auras from previous sets. There's like the 7-cost one that summons a 6-drop at the end of every turn.
Resistance Aura.
Resistance Aura, why not? Yeah, because then you just make your opponent's stuff more expensive, like taxing them at the same time as you are making a big board. I think that could be... I almost think you might do this not as like a Lanessa deck, but just a Touring into Rogue for the coin generation deck, so that you can like turbo out Gelbin. Because then you'll just be making these boards turn after turn between Chronological Aura making the taunt dragons, and then the other one making the 6-drops. And
this
then
might be the rare deck that you start running Talon again just to make sure that you draw it out, right? Because
could be, yeah. And then, although you could just set it so it's your most expensive card and you've got double of the weapon. Right?
Oh yeah. I forget that they have the weapon. They don't even have to do that.
I mean, it's not as good for this because you waste the first turn effect, but Crusader's Aura, right? Just like having that loaded up. There's a lot of potential there.
There's also Celestial Aura, which seems like the one you leave out, which is while you have exactly 1 minion in play, its attack and health are 10. I mean, you're already doing, if it's Gelbin, you're already getting that. So maybe that's not good enough. You also, reminder that Cardboard Golem exists, which is a 4-mana 4/4 with Battlecry, increase the duration of auras in your hand, deck, and battlefield by 1, which if you're probably running enough auras to justify it in a deck like this. So
yeah, I mean, you get the 2 off Gelbin, and then Chronological Aura, and the 7-cost one that summons 6-drops.
Yeah, and maybe you run Life Saving Aura just to get a full Christmas tree, but you probably don't even have to. I mean, there's a certain point at which, like, if you don't draw Gelbin or the weapon, then things get bleak in a hurry if you're just running all auras. But
I mean, if you really desperately need to do it, Paladin has another card that tutors your highest cost, right? 4-mana 3/4 Battlecry, draw your lowest cost card. Death Rattle, draw your highest cost card.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you can
I know what we're not running, which is Trinket Artist, which is draw a Divine Shield minion and an aura. That's what we're not running in this deck.
Yeah. I think it could be. I think it could work. It's probably one of those decks where it's sort of mostly auto builds itself and is like low skill cap and is like solid, but people will know how to play into it at higher tiers. But I don't know. It seems fun, and it could very well be that like this is just 3 cards out of Paladin, and then everything else goes in a different direction. So
Yeah, and we did get a card, Manifested Timeways, which is a 4-mana 3/3 elemental battlecry. If you control an aura, deal 3 damage to all enemies. So they have some support, but we haven't seen the rest of Paladin yet. It could be, they just took 3 cards out of the 10, right? Because these 2 auras that go with Gelbin don't count towards the 10 cards in the set.
Exactly.
They don't count towards the 10 cards that are going to be part of the set. They do count towards the 3 of the 30 cards in your deck.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But it means that they can make this package without making the entire Paladin set this package if they want. We haven't seen the rest of it.
Yeah. It is a clever way of like including of designing more cards without making it take up a whole bunch of the set. Just a quick speculative thing in terms of our other Fableds. I imagine it's like all the things from the sort of key art, and Rafam appears to be pictured, which I would venture a guess is our Warlock Fable. One of them looks like maybe a strange sort of Varian. I don't know. Garona Half-Orcan is definitely there. And then Malagos and Medivh are also there. I think you're not going to like the priest one.
Why?
Yes, I have seen. I believe that the priest one is Talanji. Yes.
Oh God, why? Like, just stop with her. Like, why? Oh. Anyway,
and there's an orc wielding an axe that might be Thrall. Thrall always has a hammer, so maybe it's not Thrall. But it looks like the shaman one, though. I don't know. Someone else can tell me what character that is.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. Someone on Reddit, of course, had posted a speculation based on the cinematic.
Sure.
But it's someone on Reddit, so I don't know if they're.
Yeah, it might be. It might be the guy from the Frostwolf clan, which was like Durotan, who's like Thrall's father.
Oh yeah, maybe.
That's a deep cut, but I'm surprised to see Malagos and Medivh, because both of those register mage for me.
They could be both. They could be both mage.
That's true. Yeah. But not a clear indication of like a Death Knight or Demon Hunter throwback here. So
I mean, I guess Murozond could be. Well, no, Murozond's neutral because we've seen him already. So
yeah. But anyway. Just quick speculative if anyone wants to get excited over some of those things.
Yeah, it does seem like, if you're a Warcraft fan, and you like kind of the history of these characters, right? Like Sylvanas before she became an undead, for example. There could be some stuff to get excited about.
Yeah. Dark Lady cosplay has been very excited.
Oh yeah, she gets to be Sylvanas for us.
Yeah. Oh, she's already got cosplays of like Ranger General Sylvanas, so she's ready to go.
Yeah, no, of course she does. Yeah. Oh, here we go. I found the Reddit post. It was based on the cinematic. Queen Ajara before becoming a Naga, Medivh, Rafam. One half of Varian Rin's split self, Logosh. Garona, Broxigar the Red. I don't know who that is. Muradin, Bronzebeard. And then ones we've
that would be the first time we've seen Muradin in Hearthstone. He's been in Heroes of the Storm, but not in Hearthstone, I don't think.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. So Broxidon the Red must be that orc then. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see if these are accurate or whatever. I didn't see Ajara, but that Ajara is probably the shaman one.
I think she's the blue elfy looking character at the front of the key art.
Yeah, I think that would be That would be her in the white dress, probably. Next to Chromie.
I like-
okay. Yeah.
At least it looks like that could be her. Again,
Mhm.
this is not confirmed, but
Yeah.
Anyway, fun
Anyway.
stuff.
So there'll be more sort of time-related cards. So there's a lot of sort of dormant cards in the neutral set. And we also have a Demon Hunter card, Timeway Warden, 4-mana, 2/6, Battle Cry, imprison an enemy minion. It goes dormant for 10,000 turns, or Death Rattle, it awakens.
If we ever have a cheap silence,
Yes. Then it literally will never wake up because the turn timer will happen far before 10,000 turns.
Just like my kids.
But I assume this is a reference to Illidan being locked away for 10,000 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
and that warden looks like Maev.
Yes. So, and then there's also a Warlock card, which we'll probably mention in combination with a legendary, with a neutral legendary, but this Warlock card is Divergence. It is a Warlock spell, 5-mana shadow spell, split a random minion in your hand into 2 halves. So this works like that that mage legendary we had from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Mesadune. So if you're in the GIF in the announce blog, they have a Ysera in their hand, and it splits the cost and the health and attack. So it becomes one's 5 mana, one's 4 mana, and they each have 2 attack and 6 health because that's half. And obviously, if it's an odd number, it'll like give an extra to one and not to the other. So like we had a 5 mana and a 4 mana. But they each get their effect again. So,
Yes.
for example, with Ysera, you ramp twice. With Incendious, you get the Battle Cry twice, and they each go off on their... now, I think Incendious, they each only buff their own
No,
explosions.
no, they're all. It buffs the card.
They don't know.
Right?
Yeah, they don't
It's
know.
the same card.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
all your eruptions would become 3s, or we'll get to another card. If you're doubling your end of turn effects, they would all become 5s. So
That would be pretty good. We'll talk-
Divergence. It's expensive for right. Like it's 5 mana. Do nothing the turn you do it, but it's one of those things where it spooks me a little bit because it can be set up for some very powerful stuff. It just is all dependent on whether or not you can afford 5 mana do nothing on a turn.
It's a fair shadow step.
Sure.
If Shadow Step actually cost you anything, that's what it would be like, and that's basically what it is, because you get to play the thing twice. You're almost always looking for a Battle Cry or a Death Rattle.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the ceiling
Or an end of turn
is
effect. Like
higher than Shadow Step, right?
Yeah.
Because of things like the Insidious play.
right. Because you can do
Yeah.
you can also do things like Death Rattles and end of turn effects that you wouldn't be able to do with Shadow Step. But yeah.
And if it's later in the game, you can play Divergence in half of the thing you just split, even if it was a 10-drop. Now it costs 5, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it also reduces the mana cost of the thing, which lets you fit it into turns where you otherwise wouldn't.
Wait, how does Ceaseless work? Does this just give you 2 Ceaselesses that are like, if you were halfway there, just
Like
immediately
65,
free?
probably, yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
I mean, it would split the
that's cool.
125 and then discount by the number of things. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
That seems good.
Now it is worth noting that you can't aim it. Right. But
Yeah.
if you do hit Ceaseless, that seems good.
But it's not hard. It is much easier to sort of curate your hand than your deck.
True.
Right. That for the way Mesadune was. So, because Mesadune, it had to like still be in your deck.
Hey,
This you can be like, oh, it's turn 5, and I have a thing that I want to hit. Let me make sure I hit that thing.
You could get 2 Fyrax to go with your Narrowlex.
Yeah.
Or 2 Elises, either way,
The thing I'm most interested in is the Incendious, and yeah, we'll get to why later.
Yeah. And so then, of course, if we are going to have Murozond, we are also going to have Nozdormu. So we have Time Lord Nozdormu as leader of the Bronze Dragonflight and Guardian of Time, not to mention Chromie's boss. He's at the center of this temporal catastrophe. Technically, he's on both sides of it. Oh yes, and then here it says, what I should have already known, you may already know he and Murozond are one and the same. Nozdormu is fighting his future self. So this Nozdormu is a 3-mana 8/8 dragon, obviously, that says, dormant for 5 turns, rush, after you play a card from the newest expansion, awaken 1 turn sooner.
Which will always be the newest expansion. So it is reliant on cards from the newest expansion being playable. Because you could have, like, say, there's a lot of great stuff from across the Timeways, and so Time Lord Nozdormu is really good. And then, the kind of deck that wants this just is interested in fewer of the cards from the first expansion of next year. Well, then suddenly this becomes a lot worse because that is the newest expansion.
So does that mean that launch day of every set for the next 4 is Nozdormu Day?
I guess.
And does that mean we can get rid of that stupid quest already?
So yeah, this is. He could get better. He could get worse. I mean, I'm glad it has rush. Otherwise, that would be, pretty underwhelming. So he does impact the board when he wakes up. Realistically, three mana is not a lot to invest on this to get something, a free thing later, because you're not paying for him on the turn that he wakes up. But you're not getting it that early because you have to play a few cards from the newest expansion, not just a few cards in general, in order to get him woken up. But we do know that 8/8 rushes that you get a little bit later on are good, like Ultralisk Caverns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think only if you would already be playing a lot of cards from the newest expansion are you going to bother with him. But if you're doing that anyway, then it might be good.
Or if you really care about dormant things for some reason.
Yeah, if you really care about dragons, if you really care about dormant, there is a lot of dormant in the neutral set, so we haven't seen payoff cards for dormant yet, but that's a possibility. And then there's a sort of a theme of duality, so there's a few sets of cards where, like Soldier of the Bronze and Soldier of the Infinite, where they're similar or like swapped. So Soldier of the Bronze is a 5-mana 5/3 dragon, taunt, double this minion's health. And Soldier of the Infinite is a 5-mana 3/5 dragon with rush, battle cry, double this minion's attack. I don't know that we're playing either of those unless we really want dragons. I would say the theme from a lot of the neutrals is that most of them don't seem like huge powerhouses, but having the neutrals be like having power be concentrated in the classes, if that's what we end up getting, I think is better than having power be concentrated in neutrals.
I specifically want power concentrated in the Fabled cards. Like, please.
So it would be thematically appropriate for Zarimi Priest to make a comeback in this set.
Oh, should we just talk about that?
Yeah, we should probably just skip. I mean, we just talked about Nozdormu, so we should probably just talk about Murozond. Speaking of Narimi Priest. Or Zarimi Priest.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's going to happen.
I said my girl's name wrong. Okay. So Murozond Unbounded is a 9-mana 8/8 dragon with battle cry. At the start of your next turn, set this minion's attack to infinity. So the 8 turns sideways. It now has infinity attack. But it has to live until the start of your next turn, and if you cheat it out by summoning it and not playing it, then it won't happen because it's a battle cry that this is going to happen.
Yes.
We have gotten confirmed that if you hit this with a Sleet Skater, you get infinite armor. So, I mean, if it has infinite attack. Really what this happens is you play this against a mage, they Sleet Skater the first half, or at the first turn, and get 8 armor, right? Then your next turn it goes to infinite attack, but it can't attack. Then they use the mini Sleet Skater, and you are never killing them.
Well, they still have to clear it, right? Because infinite attack should clear infinite armor, theoretically.
Theoretically. So we don't know exactly what happens when, an unstoppable force meets an immovable object here. My guess is that if they have 30 health and infinite armor, and you hit them with infinite attack, they just have 30 health now. But we don't actually know. Infinity's not really a
what's
number.
infinity plus 30?
Yeah.
There's a word problem for your next math class.
Yeah, but it only has 8 health, so not that challenging to remove. Realistically, that won't happen because the decks that will run this will be the ones that can play Time Warp. And that's Zarimi Priest and Quest Warrior, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know if you need to add an extra contingency to Quest Warrior just because you can get Time Warp, but
there are some games as Control that you have trouble ending, and this lets you end them.
I have I do not care how much armor you have. Yeah. You do have to get through taunts some other way, right? But
again, easier to do when you're taking an extra turn because you have all your mana on the attack turn to deal with their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way that you could do this with Zarimi, we have a lot of dragons in this set. In the neutrals, we don't know about Priest yet because we haven't seen Priest yet, but we have a lot of dragons in the neutrals. So we have lots of options. You get Zarimi active. You have to get up to a minimum of 13 mana because you need to if you have Neralex, you can Neralex, Murozond, Zarimi in that order specifically.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do that wrong and then be so sad. And then, of course, Murozond at the start of your extra turn will have infinity attack, and then the DK is dead, whereas Zarimi right now can't really do that much damage. Now, that's not... You still have to get yourself to that 13 minimum, or 14 if you don't have Neralex mana. Unless there's a way to cheat it I'm missing.
You're not going to like this. But it does mean that you can play a slower, more value-oriented controlling Zarimi Priest, right? Because you just are not concerned about having enough damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. This may be finally as the control Zarimi that Wicked was dreaming of when Zarimi was first revealed a year and a half ago.
It is kind of resistant to Dirty Rat, because if you Dirty Rat this and you don't have a plan, which a lot of Dirty Rat players... Oh, it's Battle Cry, yeah, so it doesn't matter. So Dirty Rat will wreck this too. So never mind.
They're clever about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Notably, also the way this is worded, and with Battle Cry, means that no dark gift shenanigans, right? Because otherwise there'll be the possibility of you play
Xavius,
play Xavius, you roll charge on this, and if it just had infinite attack, right? It's oh cool, I win.
Yeah. And same thing with Rest in Peace. You can resurrect it, but it's not going to. It's still just going to be an 8/8 forever.
Right. So that was well designed. Again, I am glad that it has niche homes like Zarimi Priest, things with Time Warp, and those are still expensive things to do, right? To be able to play a 9-drop on the same turn as you're Time Warping, and that it does not look good for anything else, right? Because it's easy enough to clear. So.
Yeah, it is a check of you must have removal, but by turn 9 or 9 mana, I mean, a rogue could get this out early.
That's true.
A rogue could technically get this out on turn 6 if they draw well.
I mean, it's the same cost as Fire Rack. So
right.
You do that as you will, right? But
again, people have ways of clearing or dealing with 8/8s usually at that point.
At that point, it's a little bit like playing the double its attack Ziliax.
Yeah.
Where it's sometimes that just wins you a game, but often they can clear it. So if you're playing it without a Time Warp effect, it's a little bit like that. And you would probably want to have some way to reduce its cost or something like that, because otherwise it's just kind of clogging up your hand. I sent this to a Discord server I'm in with like the people who I've played D&D with. They all like played Hearthstone for like a year, 10 years ago. So they're looking at this going like, well, maybe that would be okay because, if it sticks. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but in modern Hearthstone, it probably is not going to stick.
I mean, it's like rollable off things. So if you have anything that's like giving you random dragons, there's a world where you're just like, does it stick? Does it stick? Does it stick? Like, just the removal check over and over. But yeah, interesting card.
Yep. So that is one of our neutral legendaries. Some of the other ones that we have, I suppose we should talk about Chromie. Chromie is a little underwhelming, I think. She is a 6-mana 4/6 with Death Rattle. Draw another copy of cards you've played this game. So, yeah. That means if you have played a card and the other copy of it is still in your deck, you will draw it as a Death Rattle, though, not as a battle cry.
Or if you shuffled things back into your deck.
Sure.
So, like, if somebody is playing Quest Mage and they Typhoon you from Relica Kings, right? Then you could play this and get them all back. I'm not saying that I've obviously not played against a million Quest Mages over the past week. And I'm still hurt by that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The big issue, right, is it's a 6-mana 4/6 Death Rattle with no other keywords, right? It doesn't even have taunt.
But it is it is probably draw 5 when it dies.
Okay.
I mean, that's not, you don't get to control when you draw those cards is kind of the problem. Which is kind of the problem with Octosari. Like,
yeah, if it were a battle cry, we'd be in business. But
yeah,
it's just
also like no one played Cornelia's Rome, who was like 6 mana, don't affect the board, but like draw 5 cards.
Well, I mean, that was draw 4 cards if it lives to your next turn, right?
I mean, it was always draw 2.
It's probably not great, but also you're probably going to get it from Zarok's Crown occasionally, and you'll be fine with that, right?
And it can't overdraw you, right? Because it draws the other copy, right?
Yep.
So if there isn't another copy, then you don't draw.
And you know roughly what you're going to draw. I mean, presumably Deck Tracker will tell you by the time this releases.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly, I'm happy to see neutrals that are thematic and like probably not going to see play. Like that's often where we want neutrals because we do not generally like for it's not always what you want, but I feel like we're sort of at our limit with Ysera, Neralax, Fyrak, Elise being in everything.
Cindius.
Yeah. Marin. Yeah, there's a lot. So.
Yeah.
Well,
it's fine for this to be bad. Yes.
However, speaking of cards that might show up a little more often, in neutral, we have Chrono Lord Deios. He is a 7-mana 4/8 with your battle cries, death rattles, hero power, and end of turn effects trigger twice.
Oh boy.
Those are a lot of scary words. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Does cost 7. So and generally, right, you have to assume that it doesn't survive, which means 7 mana tax on doing your big play is significant. Basically, I'm looking at this as like, if we continue to exist in a world of Ysera decks, I think this is going to see some play because that's only half your mana if you've gotten to late game with Ysera decks. Interesting interaction that may be absurd, maybe not. I don't know. Umbra, the way she works is she is a battle cry. So you will play her battle cry twice. She activates death rattles. So each death rattle will trigger twice. So Umbra becomes play 10 death rattles, right? Or I guess play 5 death rattles that will each happen twice, right? But if it's all the same death rattle, like Nomelia or the Quillbore thing, right? That's just a lot of damage. Or the elemental dudes that just do 2 random shots, right?
Yeah, that actually adds up if you. If we had that as the top end of an elemental shaman or mage, it would probably be a shaman in that case. I would be happy. I would play that.
Yeah, and like there's other things, right? That just like having a brand card, even if it's a really expensive brand card, or doubling effect. Yeah, of course, this plus Incendious, even just one Incendious, right? You get to shuffle in 10 and they all upgrade to 3. If you've done the Divergence thing from Warlock, as we mentioned, then, oh good lord, you shuffle in 20 and they all become 5. Which is quite silly.
Carnivorous Cubicle could be gross with this.
Why would...
Because it's going to summon 2 copies, and presumably if you are playing it on the same turn, you're eating a death rattle. That's going to trigger twice. No, you're not going to eat this. You're not going to eat this with the cubicle. I'm saying if you play this and then eat something else with it.
But you know what you're really talking about, though? You're really talking about Mech Warrior, because
I am.
Because again, Umbra Chrono Lord Deios on deal 8 random shots, right? Because sometimes that deck plays Umbra when it's like only 3 of the death rattle, but I mean that's just going to be an insane amount of damage. That takes Mech Warrior into suddenly you cannot out armor its full combo, because if the game runs long, assuming they've managed to get 5 instances,
which they will.
Yeah, so that's 5 times 8, so 40 damage of shots twice, so 80.
Well, not if you have infinity armor.
Wouldn't it be even more than that? Because it would be twice. Wouldn't it be 16 per? Because each of the death rattles
so 160. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So even a big board is not going to save you for the most part against that. It's spooky.
I mean, Rogue is probably just going to play this, right? Because like Rogue can cheat stuff out. It's a neutral that Rogue can play. Rogue has scoundrels and can get stuff out cheap, and they can get these things to happen. So I'm sure that Rogue will figure out some way to abuse this.
Yeah, I don't know the thing that you're using, right? Like, because as we've seen, double Fire Rack is like good, but doesn't always. I mean, triple Fire Rack doesn't always win the game. Yeah. And like doubling Ashamane doesn't do anything. Yeah,
it'll depend on whether we get something in the Rogue set for this expansion that we really want to do that with. I feel like does like a Starship Rogue ever use this?
It could just be Moonstone Mauler. It could literally just be Moonstone Mauler.
Yeah, or Arcanite Defense Crystal. Sure, fine.
No,
Moonstone Mauler and Incendious. Maybe if it's really gone late and you need a ton of damage. But yeah,
I guess you do. You would just play this in a Starship deck, right? Because you just play this when you launch the Starship, and then say, "Here, go ahead and kill. You need to kill this first before you kill the Starship, or I'm going to get double the armor."
I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
So doubling Exodar doesn't actually work because you can only launch once.
Okay.
If you're a DK and you're triggering the death rattle with the
but in that case it's like board space, right?
Yeah.
So
if you somehow are triggering the biopods because you're a Starship Rogue or a Starship Hunter, which hasn't really been a thing, but like surely Sidisi will make something out of this in biopods, right?
I mean, it could dramatically diminish how many you need, right? Because now suddenly you need to be in a Sarah deck, right? Because barring finding ways of discounting this, which you can do if you get the mana discount in the Hunter, right, from Grifta, but barring ways of discounting this, like it's 5 mana to launch the Starship. It's 2 mana for the thing that triggers the death rattle. So you need 14 mana to like no discounts, play Chrono Lord Deios, launch, and activate the Death Rattle. And then, yeah, you would get double activating the Death Rattle and doubling whatever the Death Rattle is.
This is just something that for the next year and a third, people are going to be finding ways to try to use it, right? But I think I think it's expensive enough. It probably won't be in every deck, especially if we're not ending up with super late game Ysera decks fighting each other all the time, which I hope we are not.
Well, we thought that with Low too, so I think we're justified to be concerned.
I mean, Druid will probably do something with
Low
this.
did the mana cheating though, right? Yeah, I guess Druid could find something if maybe this is the deck that plays Low for a late game, high mana combo. But yeah, this like it needs the mana discount to do stuff, or yeah, the increased max mana from Ysera. It does not provide the mana cheat itself.
Yeah, it's a multiplier, not the actual effect. So you have to have something else to go with it.
Now we do have and it hasn't seen play yet, but there's a 6 mana 4/4, I think, that if each card in your hand is a different cost, you reduce everything in your hand by 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And also, imbue decks, if they become a thing again, would run this because it does double the hero power. So if you're running like imbue druid, you probably run this in an imbue druid because it's a really expensive sing-along buddy, but it is another sing-along buddy.
Could do it with the warrior, make your hero power rag.
Yeah. or I mean, maybe discover hunter. That seems like a stretch, but yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like the fact that it is all 3 in one, creates like it gets the cogs turning in terms of like deck building ideas, particularly for the instances that we've described where you get to utilize, two of the doubling effects at once.
Yeah, but we've also had Bran. We've also had
Baron
Rivendare, right? We have Sing-Along Buddy. We had even the one that there was a card that made end of turn effects go twice also at one point. That became a Battlegrounds card. So we had none of these things are new. The only thing that is new is that they are all on the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have something that cares about more than one of these, that's what's going to be different. But like the actual, I mean, that, which is not to say that Bran in Standard was not a broken thing for a while, right? But that was 3 mana, not 7. So
yeah. I think this is just kind of cool for people to try to build decks around, and if it is hilariously broken, they will nerf it. I think at least, hopefully before it's too long, right? So, but I think it's cool to have something powerful that people can flexibly try. Okay, so those are our legendary neutrals. We're not going to talk about all of the regular neutrals. We're just going to mention a few, and then when we talk about class cards, once we see them, we will go back and potentially mention neutrals that have to do with them. As of now, we don't know what those class sets are, of course, so we don't know what synergies there might be. One card that we thought we would mention was Wizened Truth Seeker. So this is a 4/4 Draenei, common neutral.
4/5.
Battle cry. Set the cost of every card in both players' hands back to their original costs.
Yeah. Screw you, Rogue. Yes. Fantastic. No notes. Favorite card in the set. Easy.
I mean, that doesn't actually mess up Scoundrel, but
I don't care.
No,
you know what it messes up? Shadow Step. Perfect. No notes. Best card of the set.
This is a tech card for if at some point they allow a mana discounting combo again in the future. But I right now this seems so narrow, and like there presently exists nothing that is a combo based on mana discounting. They're based on mana discounting that remains in hand, right? It's just Scoundrel. So It's interesting, but I don't think this is going to see play.
I mean, Ashamane?
Yeah, but they often play a bunch of stuff that
Not
turn.
everything.
Yeah, but
Ashamane costs 9, right?
You're not sacrificing a slot for Ashamane.
Listen,
Like,
you
Without
should
tradable.
know. Excuse me. Have you not figured out by now how petty I am?
I'm sorry. Competitive players are not sacrificing a slot for Ashamane. Yeah, it's just very, very narrow. So until there's a meta deck that is heavily reliant on mana discount, and this becomes a counter to their combo because they have a setup turn, right? Whereas this is reliable in a way that Dirty Rat isn't. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, this is there as maybe at some point it'll be a trap for people who like tech cards, I think.
Or a canary in the coal mine, right?
Yeah,
Or
like
Canary
that's
in
one of
the
those
Coal
cards
Mine.
where if you start seeing it a lot, there's a problem. Like
Yeah.
what was the kobold that stole somebody else's weapon
Yeah.
that we were
Sticky
playing
fingers.
during Kobold
Kobold
Sticky Fingers when everybody was playing the Evolved Shaman that relied on the weapon and that was the only way to deal with it. Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. That was an interesting Christmas. All right.
Yeah.
So another one that we had here, Wicked, you had mentioned, was Chronicle Keeper. It is a 4-mana 3/6 battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain Taunt and Divine Shield. So
just solid.
It's
if you're
more,
running dragons.
it's more dragon deck supports, right? Like we're probably it's Chromie's a dragon, like Nozdormu's a dragon. We're getting more dragons in the set, almost certainly. Like we haven't seen anything yet, but like if there's not at least like one class that's getting a dragon package, I will be shocked. And this is just a fairly solid inclusion into a dragon deck. It's not a dragon itself, but that's fine.
There's like a number of sort of neutral dragon. I mean, Portal Vanguard is a dragon. That Soldier of the Infinite and Soldier of the Brawn we mentioned are dragons. They're probably not the dragons you're playing, but they are dragons. There's Whelp of the Bronze and Whelp of the Infinite, which are a 3-mana 4/1 lifesteal Divine Shield for bronze and a 3-mana 1/4 Poisonous Reborn for the Whelp of the Infinite. Like, there are dragons in this set, and there will probably be dragons in at least one of the other class sets, but we don't know for sure.
If nothing else, then like maybe this is enough to make Dragon Warrior a thing, right?
I would love for Dragon Warrior to be a thing. Yeah. And this seems like maybe I haven't played enough Dragon Warrior to know exactly where the issue is, but if there's some survivability issues, this would help.
Well, the bronze also, like, okay, it's stats like 3-mana 4/1, not great, but the fact that it's Lifesteal Divine Shield, I think is quite relevant. And when you factor in like Gift Wrapped Whelp, right, can buff it. It's a really nice resurrect from Resuscitate.
That might be going in Zarimi.
Plus, in Warrior, like this doesn't get drawn from the draw taunt minions card, right? And it doesn't get resurrected off of Hydration Station, so it's not getting in the way of the other. I mean, it's cheap. It probably wouldn't get resurrected off of Hydration Station anyway, but like, it's not getting in the way of the other actual taunts.
That's true. Yeah, and I think of the neutral dragons in the set, Whelp of the that are not legendary, Whelp of the Bronze is the most promising.
And yeah, if you've got enough dragons for Chronicle Keeper to be consistent, 4-mana 3/6 Taunt Divine Shield is very, very good.
A Conflux Crasher that we mentioned, the rewind, deal 7 damage to a random enemy. That's a dragon. Amber Warden is an 8-mana 4/12 dragon taunt death rattle, summon a random minion from the past. I don't think we're playing that one, but
there's a lot of minions from the past.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of dragons, right? The villain is a dragon, the hero's a dragon, dragons fighting dragons. They're going to be everywhere.
Yeah. Let's see. Devious Coyote.
That's a real card.
This is a real card.
It's also a hilarious throwback to Wile E. Coyote. But yes. But that's not why I put it on the show notes. It is actually a real card.
Like, it's a 5-mana 5/3 beast with stealth, but it costs 1 less for each time the enemy hero took damage this turn. So if you've got a board of little dudes and you have attacked, this could easily be free.
Or
And it has stealth,
you,
so.
or you have a jungle gym.
Yes.
And you just press jungle gym.
Yeah, aggro DH, aggro hunter, right? Beast hunter are definitely the ones that first come to mind. Yeah, if you've
even a couple attacks with like hot coals, like
right, yeah,
you know that does 2 discounts, right? So
yeah, I mean, in the case of the demon hunter, right, location for 1/1 pirates with charge, like that's way of getting it out very cheaply. I do think like even more than sort of the obvious stuff on board is going to be instances, as you say, where you can get like multiple ticks from some kind of damage dealing spell.
Yeah, or like the elementals that do 2 pings, right? Like there's a bunch of things like that are going to do damage in little bits, and there's enough of those that this will see a bunch of play in different. I would imagine. I mean, we've had cards like this before. Like there was that one that I think it got discounted by how much damage you did to the enemy hero, like just the full amount, and that was always a 0 mana 3/3, and that saw a lot of play.
Yeah.
Even if you're paying 1 or 2 mana for this, it might still be worth it, and often it's free, right? So you're never paying 5 for this, unless you're just like in the saddest top deck zone ever and should have conceded already. Like
that's when you're running. That's when you're running over the cliff, and then you put up the sign that says "help," and then you fall. That's what happens there.
Yeah, that's when the Devious Coyote has been outmatched, outwild. I don't think that's a word, but it is now.
Also, it has stealth, right? We were just saying as like stats wise for playing it discounted, like playing an inexpensive 5/3. But the fact that it has stealth is just like
it doesn't even
huge.
need the stealth to be good. Like the stealth is like a bonus. You would play this if it was a discounted 5/3 anyway. But the fact that it's stealth is just on top of it. I think it's really good.
It's more questionable without the stealth, but with the stealth, it's just like, oh yeah, that's a mind
blast. It's a no-brainer.
Like
it's a no-brainer at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like it's vulnerable to AoE, but it still has 3 health, and yeah. And if you want to give it more health, although I don't think this is the main thing we're doing, but also a card for aggro is Yesterlock, which is a 2 mana 3/1 Murloc. At the end of your turn, give your other minions +1 health. It doesn't give itself health. It only has 1 health. But aggro decks, and it's not just Murlocs, it's any other minions get +1 health. That can be valuable in aggro decks.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might have a place somewhere.
I mean, it's very easy to kill, so you're probably not going to get more than 1 health out of it, but that's probably enough if in the decks that want it.
It's like cheap enough, I feel like, that it could still end up being worth it, right? Like, I don't know, you do this alongside something that makes a couple of 1/1s. If there's like an aggro druid and another 1/2s, I know it's not amazing, but when you're considering that's like early on. And again, just things having different minion tags when we've got things like, Menagerie Jug got nerfed, but I think it's still good. And you've got the 1/2 end of turn effect that gives stuff from different minion types, +1/+1. I could see a world where this sees some play.
It's probably fine in Quest Paladin. Like, you're going wide in that deck anyway, and it's a Murloc that you can play for 2. It's probably just fine there.
Yeah, maybe.
I have to see whether it's better than anything currently in there, but I think before it rotates, it may well see a play in some sort of aggro deck. And I like that it can do Murloc or Menagerie. Or just like aggro paladin, like straight aggro paladin with lots of 1/1s, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And also its flavor text is just Nostalgic Miracles, which is probably going to be my memoir title.
I almost skipped Time Skipper, which we can't skip Time Skipper. 4 mana, 3/4 pirate. At the end of each player's turn, give them a coin. So the way this works is if you play Time Skipper, At the end of your turn, you get a coin, so you can't play it this turn. But then your opponent doesn't get their coin until the end of their turn, assuming that they haven't cleared it. So if they clear it, they don't get a coin. They have to leave it up to get a coin. You are still risking giving your opponent a coin. I feel like if this was a 3-mana 3/4, we would see it like all the time.
Yeah, 4 is tough. There's a couple of things I feel like looking at some of these cards that I'm just like, oh, it's just like it's a mana too much.
Yeah.
I mean, even the doubling thing, I'm looking at it and I'm like, 7's a lot. Particularly with some of the aggro-oriented cards that it looks like they're printing.
Yeah. But we're also paying 3 mana and running our face into things to get a coin right now. So
I don't understand why you say that like it's a bad thing. That's just a good card, that weapon.
It's just a 3-attack weapon.
I don't like running my face into things under the best of circumstances. So
But I mean, yeah, if we're doing expensive stuff with 7 mana minions, as you said, then like maybe it's worth it. And I do think it makes kind of an interesting situation for the opponent. Like, do you clear it or not?
And it's a neutral way of getting coins. So
I think it's probably good that it isn't 3 mana. It's 4 mana, so it's really a choice to whether you include it.
Yeah, at 3 mana, like Spider Tank is just like a stat line that you're kind of okay with playing at 3, and so it would just be in a lot of stuff.
This is also the kind of card where I would not be super surprised if it became a 3 mana 3/4 in a month or two after release, potentially. But
maybe
I think if they buff it, they keep it at 4 and make the stats a little bigger. I think that would be better. Because I think if you make it cheap, that's just a little too good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or they make it 3 mana 2/4 or something, right? Like I think something changes if either the stats change and it stays 4, or they go down and it goes to 3.
But 4 health is still a real minion that you have to clear if you want to get rid of it too.
But yeah, it may even see play as is, just because neutral way of generating coins.
Oh, I just got the pun. Because the skipper on a boat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I approve.
And you're like skipping turns because you're coining.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very sort of like Time Bandits.
Yeah.
We're skipping through centuries on a boat.
That is so good.
And the last one that we had noted here, unless anyone has something else they want to talk about, but Living Paradox is a 3 mana 2/1 elusive that battle cry summons another couple 2/1 elusives. So it summons, when you play it, you get 3 2/1 elusives that are all called Living Paradox.
Which is like fairly reasonable by itself, right? Like I'm not crazy. Like
that's
3.
That's 6/3 worth of stats.
So in a go wide deck, I mean, I'm always considering for Death Knight, it's 3 corpses.
Yeah. Or if Quest Druid is ever a thing, right? Like that's 3 bodies.
Oh yeah, for sure, Quest Druid. Yeah. Yeah, it just feels like it's got potential, and if you are buffing them, then the elusive feels all the more relevant.
That's a great curve into Crusader Aura.
It sure is. Yeah.
And you can't ping them off, right? Like 2/1s are usually bad because you can ping them off, but they have elusive, so you have to actually like attack into it or use a minion to clear it or something. You can't just like, oh, okay, Fire Blast. That's not how you deal with this.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like aggro has been in a weird spot, and it it may remain so, but it feels like it is getting some tools. They're not like the standout, oh for sure this is going to be crazy kind of tools, but I don't know, there's something there, and Living Paradox feels to me like maybe we get more sort of go wide decks.
This seems like it's just potentially just a solid 3-drop. And also aggro decks have kind of been missing good aggressive 3-drops.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've been playing Observer of Mysteries, which is a good card, but it's not like
That's not an aggressive card.
Yeah, it's more like a protect a board once I have one. It doesn't kind of build you a board in an aggro deck. And so this is a 3-drop that's more sort of pressuring. It's just been a mana slot that most aggro decks have been struggling with a little bit. 1-drops and 2-drops are usually a lot easier to fill right now than 3-drops. There's not like a neutral 3-drop that everybody's running that they're really happy to be running in aggro.
Also, if rotation happens and for some mysterious reason they decide to bring Evolve back, then we would have the Desert Hare Evolve shenanigans going on again. I don't think they'll do that, but, just keep an eye out for, April next year or whenever they start announcing core set.
So anyway, we've got many folks we'd like to thank.
Yeah, we have many folks we'd like to thank. Check the thanks section on the website at Concede.com, where you'll also find our contact info, our show notes, and our Patreon information. You can monetarily support our show at patreon.com/CoinConcede. Follow us on Blue Sky at CoinConcede. Write into our email at coinconcede@gmail.com. Join us every week live by following us on Twitch at twitch.coinconcede.com. Join our community chats in our Discord at discord.coinconcede.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/@CoinConcede. And keep an eye out for announcements about the shop.
I will coin concede. First of all, I want to coin concede to this card, Sandmaw, because he's kind of a cute little elemental beast thing. It's just a 3-mana 7/2 with no text at all. And it's hard being a card with no text at all. But the main thing that you would use this card for, right, is that it completes the 7 attack part of Quest Hunter for 3 mana. So.
Yes, indeed, because it's a beast. Mm-hmm.
Because it is a beast. Anyway, but otherwise, it's just such a sad, empty little text box. With you can see the.
Maybe eventually it'll find its Sandpaw, and then it'll, get some text.
Wicked.
I'm going to coin concede to Pilot. We had a really good coaching session where we pretty much ran the table on Death Knight, which was not where I was feeling myself that day, but we did that, and then he got to Legend right after that. So it's a pretty good session. We had a good time, basically wrecking everybody who got in our way. So
nice.
What about you, Edel?
Would like to similarly coin concede to Tito Santana, who I was understanding of the fact that I've just been really bad at scheduling coachings lately. So we did a double session, and it was good. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us for this week. So until next time, keep calm and rock me Chrono Deios. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
All life must end. I yield for now. I concede. Well fought. I concede.
You win this one.
The victory is yours.
You have bested me.
I give up.
You win this one, friend. You win this time.